the freedom. Today is a happy Independence Day to all my Indian friends and families back home, also anywhere across the globe. Today is the independence of India from a British rule. But from the concept that came up, how free the one person is, how free the one person is. The day you think, you plan, or you create a structure in mentally or physically in your life around you to be something or create something to be, means there's a parameter. Your growth is only within those parameters. You are limited. You are limited. You are becoming something. Basically, you have to compromise your individuality in the process of becoming something. Independent, in my personal opinion, it doesn't exist. As long as you're trying something, you should try to focus to be individual. When you try to focus to be individual, not to be something other than what you are. So your uniqueness will always remain. Your uniqueness, to keep your uniqueness or remain unique as an individual, even you become something, you will always be an independent. So mentally, if you compromise your individuality and you focus all the effort to be something, you cannot be free. You cannot be individual. You cannot be independent. So most problems in life arise that you do not know who you are as an individual. As long as that you are unaware of your individuality, you are unaware of your unique nature, and that what always creates a problem. Now, how on the earth we can feel an independent? I don't think so. So far, is as long as you are bound, controlled by the senses, you are not independent. You are codependent. You are codependent. Either you're dependent on the, if you want to be happy, you're dependent on the pleasure of your senses. Or if you're dependent on the economical, you're dependent on the money. That's your source of happiness. Unless you totally reach to the state of vairagya or achieve the state of contentment, you can be independent and be happy. So, on a spiritual terms, how to be happy, how to be independent, till you have the freedom. As long as your freedom is subject to the control of your senses, and your freedom is controlled by you trying to be something, you cannot be independent. You cannot have the happiness. You cannot have the slavery of your senses. As long as it's there, you cannot be free. So even materially as well as spiritually. That does not mean you should not have things. We have a quite wrong concept in yoga. You start resisting and creating the wall of controlling your senses. You must understand your senses, not to control your senses. It's not about making the wall, but about how healthy relationship you have with yourself, not with the object. Again, sometimes you can make it, oh, I have a very disciplined, so how I consume the object and things around me. It's not about object. It's your personal relationship, how healthier it is. The day what is available to your senses, if you don't have it, are you still okay with it? That creates a some form of disturbance to you. If it does, means you don't have a healthy relationship. You have idea of it. So forget about that. Let's see. William just posted. I have a question. How can I best support my friend as her mom is quickly dying from a resurgence of cancer? I am there for her, no doubt, but I love her. William, my friend, there is a very crucial topic about cancer. You are the first person I have heard who talk about other than COVID-19. So the cancer is a very crucial stage. They only find a way to help her to find a easy in her death. The fear of death is very prominent. Fear of death is very prominent. The doctors doing their job, let them do their job. You try to give whatever alternative job you can do, help them. Fear itself a cancer. Fear itself a cancer. Also, suppression of emotions and unhealthy lifestyle can also create it. Some people say that there is some people who have had cancer have a zero problem. But look around, you only thinking about a present circumstances, no factor of that person's life. But what the mother had, what mother's DNA is, your autoimmune also plays a major role to your immunity that can also affect cancer. It's not about what you as an individual consuming, but how the parents lived it, how they treated you while you were in the mother's womb, and what kind of food you consume, radioactives. There's lots of substance nowadays. The purity is very little available. So, my friend, the only way I can advise, if it's a healthier stage, you give her the comfort that she will be perfectly okay. World will carry on with while she's here or without she being here. But she needs to understand that you provide her enough love, enough support. You cannot take her cancer away. But there is no miraculous person who can ever do that as well. Medicines are there to help it, and there's lots of people the beliefs that you can touch the hand so you can take the cancer away, or give the cancer to a vegetable, give the cancer to some animals. All hoax, my friend. Whatever your karma is, you have to deal with it. And cannot lose the person. Some advice to recover from unexpected circumstances that happens in your life, especially in your love life, especially in your relationship. How to recover from it. And then there's goes on further. It was something completely unexpected. The most thing that we come to know, they're always unexpected. Point one. You never have a plan for them. You may get some signs of it, but when you get signs, those signs of something is about to happen, also unexpected. So you cannot predict the future. If something unpleasant is going to happen for you, you are not going to plan unpleasant. It always happens unexpected and unplanned. Point one. Second part is there was never been any problem. There was no arguments. There was not a concern for that relationship to come to an end. Also, I was very well behaved. Maybe that was the problem. You were very well behaved. Person is wild who doesn't like well-behaved people. Do you imagine? If person is wild, doesn't like well-behaved people, that can be the good reason for it. Nothing happens for no reason. Remember that. There is a nothing happen for no reason. There is always some underlying issue. I will come back to the point. Even we had a pure love. Purity of love can be there, but there is in purity in love also comes a acceptance. Purity of love also comes with an acceptance of the person as they are. If the purity, if there is no acceptance, the purity is not fully there. There is a subject of the sense relationship, the individual preferences or individual liking, disliking. So most difficult part is I find it difficult to accept and recover from the loss of ending the relationship. I can't suggest yoga and meditation because my friend already said the yoga meditation is now seems to help so much, having that effect so much. And I try really to accept, to feel happy for him. He thinks he will be happier, but it is not easy. Thank you. So I will elaborate, do the surgery of the question. Point one. The initial part, if our karmic relationship, you can have a look from two angles, spiritual or material. If you look at from a spiritual angle, you can tell yourself stories that my journey used to be that long, that have come to an end, and his way, I'm my way. The one way of looking at it. Materially, a human relation can never be pure. I can guarantee you that much. As long as there is a expectation in your life, even from the parents, our relationship to our parents can never be pure either because there is expectation from each other. And two people, when they come together, there is a common interest. That common interest come to an end, two people go away. So we force each other in the social structure or within our sense structure. Look at your initial investment to be in that relationship. If that initial investment come to an end, there would be a relationship afterward. It's very easy for me to say, accept it, but you have had a emotional investment, physical investment, intellectual investment, future planning. So damage to the ego or the damage or the loss of something that your senses had, now you no longer have that. You find it difficult. So first you need to make peace with the senses and find a one good reason why the person should not be with you. You're looking for the 100 reasons why the person should be with you. One reason. If you love somebody, you want them to be free, you can't keep them in prison. If they don't want to be with you, you can't actually keep them. And a simplest way you can look at it, your senses or the person's senses You have an interaction with the person. If that interaction comes to an end, you can't force that interaction. Engagement of the senses have to be very important. Maybe his alignment with your frequency or your alignment with his frequency come to an end. You cannot communicate. Your senses, vibration frequency is no longer vibrating on the same frequency. But your insecurity or his or her insecurity will try to keep you on the same page because there is a logical thinking, because we have a lot to lose. We have a lot to lose. Fear to accept or where the ego get hurt is very difficult. If you look back in the past, I'm pretty sure he or she is not your first love. You probably had before. We have gone to the same phases before. There might have been issues, but this time there is also an issue, but you are not aware of it. And even there was a issue because it was so natural and so pure and so absolutely perfect. And that can be the problem too. Sometimes there is there is lots of problems. These are also a problems. So always you have recovered from past as well a relationship. So it gives a time. It gives a time. More time you spend with self-fulfilling rather than focusing on the person. Focus on yourself to accept. You not accept the breakup of the relationship. Accept the person as it is. You accept yourself as you are. In relation to yoga and meditation, whenever you practice yoga and meditation, your focus is not in accepting, but your focus is how to create the bridge back, how to make the fault or find the fault in the person. The person is making the biggest mistake of the life. If your focus is that, you are actually not meditating. You are trying to patch the situation. You're trying to create the bridge in the situation, but rather than spending time with yourself, heal yourself, every wound will be healed. But you're trying to win psychologically thinking, you're sending the energy to the person, he coming back to running. So actually, you're using the meditation power to materialize something that have already gone. So try to work to heal yourself. If longer you leave it, the larger the wound will appear. So not to use meditation and yoga to send a positive vibration, come back to me, come back to me, come back to me, and why it should come back to me. Your focus is not you, your focus is the person. If that makes sense, I hope it makes sense. But you change your approach to yoga and meditation will help you. At present, you are practicing yoga and meditation, but your approach to yoga is wrong. So it only can heal and help when our intention is aligned. If everything is so perfect in myself or in you, as for example, why the person will leave? If that is his loss or her loss, not your loss. Why are you so worried about it? You find miraculously, if there is absolutely everything so perfect, you are well behaved, there will be somebody who aligns with your frequency. Not to feel sorry for yourself. At present, you are feeling sorry for yourself, which is not the good way to be. As long as you feel sorry for yourself, all you're doing damaging your emotional intelligence. not to feel sorry for yourself. And as per your claim that you are well behaved, you are a very nice human being, you will find a Mr. Perfect or Miss Perfect. So allow the time to let go your emotional intelligence, let go your uh, the lack that you senses to have, the comfort, pleasure that your senses used to have, that is missing. That's what you are missing, not the person. In the same replacement can be done by someone else, you will forget about the same thing. It will be completely gone out of your mind. So it is a hunger of your senses. It nothing to do with the person. Okay. So next question I have. If that makes sense, if that makes sense, the you can always reach out to the question. If it doesn't make sense, we can always have a conversation about it next time. And there's another question I have is about self-confidence. How to develop it? Is there ever a point in the life when it is too late to develop the confidence? It's a very good question. I have lots of people. I know some of them is there's never too late to develop a confidence. Sometimes a person's individual stubbornness will never allow them to develop self-confidence or feel self-pity. If your mindset is like a victim mindset, you get enough attention of being victim, you cannot develop it. You have to drop the victim mindset to develop a confidence. Point one. First step, never to feel a victim. If you, because once you feel a victim, you get a sympathy of other people. And that becomes your downside. You constantly looking for the attention or to gain sympathy of people because poor you believe that you are poor you. Why that happened to you? Drop that. First step. Second step, debate. Communicate in such a way what you say, you examine it, observe it, and you present it not in a threat, aggression, or intimidation. You can actually not assume in life that you have any confidence in part. It's all the way you present your dialogue can also reflect that you have no confidence. Sometimes, if you feel lack in your life that you're not worth it, will also create a lack of confidence. If you have self-doubt that I'm not good enough, because that's what people have told you that you are not good enough. That who the person is to decide, who anybody is in the world can decide that you are not good enough. Nobody can decide that. Only person can decide that is you. You are good or not good. So learn to ignore people. Points this is very hard thing to do. Learn to ignore because all the time you want to anybody says positive, negative, you take everything to you, and because that gives you attention. Even if it's a negative attention or positive attention, it is attention, and you feel good about yourself. At least you're getting attention. So drop the attention-seeking problem. Drop the victim mind. Stop assuming. That is the fourth. Stop believing that you are not good enough. Maybe you find a one good quality in yourself. One good quality in yourself. And that one good quality can become your anchor point to build the confidence inside you. One good quality, one good reason that how much worth you have in yourself. That can become a key point for the confidence inside you. But beyond that, the healthier communication is always key. Healthier communication, healthier thinking. Now I'm using the word healthier. If mind is always negative, always thinking for the worst case scenario, you should always be optimistic, realistic. You cannot be strategic 24/7. Optimistic, realistic, practical, logical. You need to find all those approaches in your life. I will not say the one more the people have, what call it, the worst case scenario. All the time, worst case scenario. Drop that mindset. Always find either you're already negative, always looking for negative, you always find either good reason to be negative. So you spend some time, whenever the mind starts chattering with you, try to give you doubts, try to give you instability, try to feel the self-doubt, lack of self-worth. Sit down, find one good reason only. Not too many of them. If you look for two more than one, you will get lost. You start judging other people. And drop the comparison. Not to compare to anyone. You yourself an individual and you are unique in your own way. All you need to do put effort to find that uniqueness that you hold within you. Your investment is always been finding the uniqueness of other people inside you. And that is a lack of willpower, a lack of confidence. There is everybody have confidence. You only feel lack of confidence when you try to look other people's qualities, other people's the mentality, behavior, attitude, and looking are do you have them? Maybe not. You maybe have a greater quality than anybody else. So rather than you looking for the qualities of other people inside you, you should spend the time the your uniqueness, how great you are as an individual, what is unique about you, the day you can tap into that frequency, you will be liberated. You will have so much amount of confidence, you will be bouncing. You will have plenty of willpower. You will feel such a great about yourself. But is again, I can say is for me it's very easy to say. Then for somebody actually in that space, a stuck mindset where the whole life is being told that you are worthless. Whole life you've been told that you are not good enough. Whole life you've been treated that what do you call it? Lack of appreciation, gratitude about person's existence by yourself as well as other people. So sometimes it can create a damaging mindset, but it's not impossible. It's never too late to create. It's just a right environment, a right attitude, right environment, or you can say nourishing environment. I will not use the word right, but nourishing environment, nourishing approach, and the not a doubt into the self and how you unflowering, how you flourishing in yourself. So giving enough time and possibility to interact with yourself, understand yourself rather than comparing. And if we look in modern society. You don't want to be you, you want to be somebody who's ahead of you. And that way the race starts. That's where the chase starts. That's where the unhappiness starts. If that makes sense, if it makes sense, great. If it doesn't make sense, please do ask the question again, and we can always talk about it again. Anybody else have any question? There's no question in the YouTube. Also, Michael, you were asking a question. You were saying something.
A question.
Please do.
What's the dark night of the soul?
What is the dark night of soul?
Of our soul, of our spiritual journey,
Uh-huh.
and the times that we're the dark night of that. And I think the terminology I've heard is the dark night of the soul. You may have another terminology for.
Well, my friend, the time that you are not aware of self, you are living in the darkness. Your soul is in the darkness, even there is no night. You can be bright daytime and you are not aware of self, you are living in dark night. Do you get it?
So self-awareness and aware of our environment lifts the soul.
Yes.
That's the sunlight of the spirit in.
You know that we have a they call Atma Jyoti. This word Atma Jyoti. Atma is yourself, Jyoti is the light. When yourself in the presence of light, you can see yourself fully. You're saying you can't see yourself in dark. Means your presence is with you 24/7. You can see yourself. Means you are no longer in the dark. You are not in a dark night. You can be a bright daylight. But if you are not aware of yourself, if you cannot see it, you are living a dark night, even broad sunshine.
So in a way, it's when the mind separates itself from the emotions and the body. So the separation creates the darkness and the heaviness.
So you can separate your mind from emotions, but you should not deny them.
Got it.
So sometimes we work too much on denial. We work too much on suppression. We work too much on replacement, not on acceptance. The way you suppress the emotions, you're losing your energy. You're making the volcanic bomb inside you, basically. One day that emotion blasts it, creates almost the explosion of what do you call it?
Rage?
No. The rage, resentment, anger, this all sorts of it. But I give an example of the volcano. If a suppressed emotion one day erupts like a volcano.
Got it.
Okay, and also can create resentment, create anger inside you as well. When you replace it, you become a vicious cycle. You constantly replacing almost every 6 months. This emotion doesn't work. Okay, let's replace with something else. Let's replace with it's called replacement therapy. That's what happens in most of the time in a human behavior. I don't like that person, but how do I replace it? I find somebody else. Is exactly doing the same thing. You have not altered your perception. You have just changed the circumstances. Till you altered your perception, change of circumstances will not make any peace for you. Okay. Second part, the replacement, suppression, or what do you call it? Avoiding. Like I don't want to see it, creates a problem for me. I avoid as much as possible. Completely negligence. Means you are not aware of yourself, what is actually missing. You always feel drained afterward. If you are hiding away from emotions, avoiding your emotions, suppressing your emotions, completely developing a negligence mindset to it, or separating from them, because you try to use your ego power not to, what happens, you feel drained afterward. Because emotions are your power. Emotions are your energy. But not the emotions that drives you mental. Emotion can also give you empowerment. But how do you handle the emotion is the key. It's not the either emotion is driving you or you are driving the emotion. It's two-way relationship, my friend. You can let the emotion drive you. You have no idea you've been taken for a ride. Or you understand the emotion. You can utilize the emotion to the maximum benefit of your intelligence. If that makes any sense to you?
Perfect sense. Thank you so much
Okay.
for shining a light on that. Thank you.
So that's called, yeah, I'm taking you out of your dark night, my friend.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice to realise that one, I'm not the only one who goes there, and two, there is a way out. So thank you.
I'm taking you out of your dark night. I'm taking your soul out of your dark night, basically.
You, have the,
So,
you certainly have the magic to do that to me, my friend. You've done it to me many times, so thank you.
well, you always go back in this cycle of life, my friend. You go back. I'm trying to get you out of that whirlpool or hamster wheel. Is either they're going this way or going this way. I don't know which way it is sometimes, If the whirlpool goes like this, a hamster wheel goes like this. So which one you are on, hamster wheel or the whirlpool?
Well, the problem is now I'm on both of them. The one's work is the answer, and the other one's the emotion. So
Yeah.
I'm going both ways.
So it's very hard. The whirlpool will drown you. Hamster wheel you keep on going, So we need to find a way.
It's a great example because the hamster wheel, in my mind, of what you've explained it, the hamster wheel keeps me away from the fear of the whirlpool instead of sometimes putting my head in it and slowing it down. So thank you. It's a good analogy.
Okay. So keep it safe, my friend. Don't do replacement therapy.
No, you're right. I need to go to